Welcome to another episode of Daisy and G Spill the Tea. Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of Daisy and G Spill the Tea.
So today we have a really, really special guest with us. We've got Ocean. Thank you so much for coming to see us today.
Of course. Always love
Cheers.
meeting everyone.
Morning,
Cheers.
Mimosa.
Morning, Mimosa. Love that.
It's also a Friday, so.
It is a Friday. It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
I knew you were going to say that. If that's not your motto of life, I don't know what is.
Any excuse to crack open the Prosecco.
So, for those who may not have seen, although I highly doubt it if you haven't seen this very familiar face on any TVs or billboards in and around the country, Ocean, you're very busy, aren't you?
Yeah.
So you do both filming and photographic work,
Yeah.
don't you? So, but what's the favourite?
Filming for sure.
That's
Really?
obviously because we speak, don't we? So that's
Yeah, that's not what a stills book wants to hear.
I love stills, but I think I definitely thrive better in filming environment only because of, I went into this wanting to be an actor.
Yeah.
And doing commercials is like the halfway of both worlds.
Yeah.
And it's just worked out, it happens that I'm better in auditions and castings rather than like on phones.
Do you think you like taking on like a different persona and like being a character?
100%.
And,
Yeah.
Although I guess I always say to talent as well that I think that even when you're on a still shoot, you are still becoming a character. You're not being, like, you are being yourself.
You are
but do you know what I mean? You're
acting a
taking
little
on
bit, aren't you?
another role. But no, well, I happen to think that you're very good at both, to be honest.
Yeah, we think you're
Congrats.
amazing. We say that all the time. We're like, oh, she's so lush, isn't she?
Yeah, yeah.
Stop it, you guys. You're gonna make me cry.
Just getting you up here.
What's your favourite job that you've done today? Who was it for? What did you enjoy about it?
And what did you do?
Yeah.
My favorite job, you know what? It's also like, it's definitely my favorite. It's a feature film that I did, and it's out like literally this week.
That's a little plug, everybody.
Yeah. However, it's it's so funny because it's part of like a really big franchise.
Yeah.
But it's had such awful reviews.
Oh no!
But
Is it on that rotten
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh no.
And I think a lot of like I've had a lot of like messages from like fans of the franchise who were like both supportive and both really like critical.
Yeah.
But working on that job was probably my favorite just because it was so intense and immersive, and we filmed it almost 2 years ago during lockdown.
Wow.
And obviously we didn't have it was supposed to be filmed in America, but then we couldn't, so we had to film it in a green screen studio. And so
So you didn't get the trip to America.
but then it was just, obviously no one is ever in charge of when it comes to the production editing side of it. Like we don't have a say in that. We don't get to see that. But that to this day is probably my favorite job to have done.
Yeah.
Only because of like a lot of the friends I made out of it and like how good the experience was because of the people rather than anything else.
How long did it take? So how long were you filming for in total then?
About 2 months, and this was during like the winter lockdown.
Oh, okay. So that was
very
locked.
Yeah.
So we were
That
all
was
like
locked.
in a bubble, and we were staying
In a
in
bubble. Oh
Yeah.
god, that gives me PTSD.
I know.
Oh, bubbles.
and we were staying in like the middle of nowhere town outside of like London, where they had like 4 takeaway places that was just like kebabs, fish and chips, and obviously
the classics.
yeah, and we couldn't even use like the hotel like kitchen or anything.
God.
But-
So were you eating takeaways all the time?
No, I honestly couldn't. So I actually had a little intense chat with the manager, to put it
Not
politely.
that I'm a diva.
No, fair enough. I feel like
Yeah.
probably after like your third
You get
takeaway,
sick
you're
of
probably
it.
a bit like, I feel gross
Yeah,
now. Like,
just give me some vegetables.
Yeah.
I don't even care how it's cooked. Just stick
I'll
it in the
eat
microwave.
it raw.
But yeah, so I had a chat with the manager, and I was just like, please, could I just use your kitchen? Because obviously like we're living here for like the next like 2 months or whatever.
Yeah.
So please
I'll
just
clean
let me
it, I
steam the
promise.
vegetables.
I mean, it's not a big ask really in the grand scheme of things.
No,
but those times, I guess,
no way.
looking
Yeah.
back, it was a crazy time.
Yeah.
we were saying, and you
That
probably
was
heard in our
mad.
last podcast, we were actually very fortunate in that the advertising industry was able to still go ahead, weren't they? Because that was like a stipulation made by the government.
Yeah.
Would you say you were busy in those times then, or how did you find it?
Honestly, 2020 and 2021 were probably the best years I've ever had.
Really?
Yeah.
I know that sounds so awful to say because I know a lot of people struggled, but I definitely, for me, it was just like the most exhilarating time in my career, just because I was like, oh my god, I was the first 3 months of lockdown, I genuinely thought I was never going to work ever again.
Really? That's scary, you know, when you've got bills to pay, like that's scary stuff. Yeah.
But right after lockdown, like the moment it was lifted, like my first job was like in Ukraine, and I was like, I'm flying. Oh god. Like
I'm leaving the country. I'm leaving
what am I
my
gonna
house.
catch? Like what am I gonna bring back home? Like but I was definitely very grateful for those 2 years.
Yeah, it was crazy. Especially, I feel like 2021 was mad as well, wasn't it? Because we went. Did we go into that year? We did. We were in
It was
lockdown
like March.
until
It was like
April.
a day or two before my sister's birthday when Boris popped up on your TV and was like,
Bloody
Everything
"We're
was
locking
closing.
you down."
Yeah.
That's scary and very surreal, though, isn't it?
But how mad that we actually did that. Like, we didn't
Yeah.
see our friends and family for so long.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember I did a live chat with you in lockdown. We went live on the.
I
you know, when you
used
could
to
do that
watch
on
those.
Instagram. Did you?
I wasn't involved in the team at that point.
So this
but
isn't
yeah.
our first interview. But that was crazy times. Like, none of the other bookers wanted to do it, so they were like, right, Georgie, you've got to interview this person, and I'd be interviewing like casting directors, and it was like fun. It gave me something different to do. But I was literally sat in my bedroom on live Instagram, like,
This is us.
Just waiting for them to join.
So you've been with us obviously a fair few years now. So what initially, if you can remember way back when, drew you to Sandra Reynolds? Because we have to say, I think we owe Ocean a thank you, because often a lot of the referrals that we get from word of mouth
Are from you.
way.
Yeah.
I'm a friend of Ocean, or like, I know Ocean. Ocean mentioned her name at a casting, and we're like,
Oh, that's
that girl.
amazing. Oh, that's so good. Actually, I think someone had messaged me on Instagram and was like, would you like to come in for a casting? And I said, yeah. And I think at the time as well, like, I was very new to like the entire thing, and I didn't really know, and I was just taking like all the opportunities I could just so I can, you know, have a job.
yeah. And you have to show willing in the first instance, don't you? And just really get your bearings, and then you can kind of suss out what you enjoy or what you want to pursue more, can't
For
you?
sure.
So, yeah.
So I think that was like the kind of like catapult into me saying that, like, actually, you know what, I do really want to do this though. And I didn't really know like that many agencies that were like diverse and would just take me on personally, just because I'm
petite.
I'm petite.
Yeah, you've got a really cool look as well.
Yeah.
But I think at the time I didn't feel like I did. I felt like I was trying to get into an industry that was dominated by 6 foot tall white girls. So for me it was just like, I don't know if anyone's ever going to take me. I didn't even know that the commercial world existed.
Yeah.
That was just like a completely like alien concept. Like I forgot, yet of course they have to hire people for like commercials or just, you know, like the other things that you see on billboards every day rather than just fashion.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think a lot of people get confused with that though. I think when you think of like modelling agencies, you're obviously thinking of like Kendall Jenner, aren't you? Walking for like
your runway models.
Yeah,
but
all of
that's
that.
not just what modelling is.
Yeah.
But
No.
obviously, even since, you know, when we took you on those years ago, even then the industry has come so far in terms of diversity and like inclusion.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy, but it keeps it interesting, doesn't it, really?
Yeah, absolutely. Pressure here. So what are your coolest favourite jobs that we've booked you on?
I definitely would say Malibu was one of my favorite ones.
Who booked that?
Lovely, Daisy.
Yeah, that was sick. That was my first big booking.
Oh, really?
And I remember Hannah was like, Daisy, you're going to die when you see this email. And I was like...
To this day, also like one of my favorite jobs from you guys, mostly because it was the first time I ever gone to like Barcelona.
Yeah, you were in Barcelona, weren't you?
I made so many friends, and I was just like, oh my god, there's a whole other city that I'd like fallen in love with.
Yeah, it's lush there, isn't it?
I love the Barcelona.
And the casting crew were all like super nice and really chill, and it was just like overall like one of my favorite experiences as well.
Oh, amazing.
Monica Vinader as well. I really love just
That's
because.
beautiful, yeah.
Yeah.
So I think I also had you booked on Virgin Active as well when you were like running around.
Oh yeah,
and,
I got to do a headstand finally.
I remember getting the footage back and I was like, crumbs, I'm glad I didn't book anyone else on that job, because if they were like, okay, do a headstand, and only you would be like, yep, okay.
I actually loved working with that because there's David, someone that I bump into a lot with like different jobs.
Yeah.
He's always so fun to be around, so he's just got such good energy.
Right.
And it's not often that you work with other people that you like just vibe with.
Bounce off of, yeah.
And he's always just fun, so that's why he
love
made that
that.
shoot fun for me as well as obviously like the crew.
Yeah.
Because they were just like, oh my god, well done on a handstand, on a headstand. And I'm like,
Thank you.
thank you guys.
So, what were you doing before you were modelling and acting? What was young Ocean doing?
Trying to figure out her life.
Here. Cheers to that.
Yeah. Cheers.
I was actually working like 3 different jobs. So I worked as a bartender, a receptionist, and a barista.
Wow.
And
All at the same time?
yeah.
Gosh.
That is actually so good to know. Because
Yes.
if we ever get briefs for that.
You actually do get those kind of briefs.
Yeah,
I'm noticed.
must
Someone write that
be.
down.
Put it on our skill set, please.
So I was working 3 jobs, and like the service industry is obviously great because you can make your money when you want to, and you can pick your hours basically. And I was lucky enough to be working for a company that was so lenient about me taking time off to like do auditions and castings and jobs. But yeah, before I actually started acting and modeling, it was fully immersed in the service industry. Like I worked at festivals, I worked at bars, I worked at restaurants, I waited tables for a little bit too.
I think
I
it's fair
bet
to
festivals was cool, wasn't it?
Yeah.
'Cause then
No.
you can... No? But you can like listen to the music and like pour a drink.
No. Because you're actually
Got
when
that
you're
idea wrong.
I think the idea of it, I used to manage these like big, huge, when you go to a festival, you have these huge tent
the bars. Yeah.
I used to manage them for this company, and I honestly it was horrible. It's like 17 to 18, like 20-hour shifts. You're there like on your feet all day. You're having to manage a bunch of people who have no like interest in being there whatsoever. They're just there for the money, which is fair. And the way they hire people is like they just need bodies to basically.
I was gonna say,
like,
so I doubt they don't really have like the experience of being behind a bar either. Do they?
I've met the craziest type of people in that job, because I remember I had one staff at some point. They were like, which one? We sold 5 different spirits, and you can only imagine every single one of them are labeled. And this girl comes up to me and she's like, which one's the gin? And I'm like,
Probably the one that says Gordon.
the one that says gin. I don't have time for this, Karen. Get out of my sight. But it's like super stressful, and you're always getting told off because you're giving your staff too much breaks or whatever. And when you want to have the balance of being like a good manager but also like
get the job done.
Yeah. It's kind of hard, especially when you have like people who are for the floor managers who will tell you off for the stupidest things. And you're just like, oh, I hate this job. When am I going to get out?
Yeah.
So I think it's fair to say you've always been a bit of a busy bee then. You don't like being sat still, and...
Yeah.
Because even when you're not shooting or whatever, we always see on your social media that you're taping, you're like going to live castings, you're like writing
skateboarding.
stuff.
Yeah.
Or hanging on your hoop out of your apartment. For those who don't know, you're also an aerial artist, aren't you?
Yeah.
That is so cool.
But I think I've always just loved, like, I need activities. Like, it's not that, like, I have ADHD or anything, but I can't sit still, like, on my own in a room and just be, like, on my computer all day, because it drives me a bit. I need, like, physical things to do. So even if it's, like, painting or, like, sewing or whatever, like, just anything.
To busy yourself.
Yeah.
I think that's really important, because it's also important to get away from everyday, like, working life, isn't it? And just have that escape. That's
for sure.
Yeah.
I wish I was like that.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of any core skills that I have, and I'm struggling.
You're a runner.
And you're as much as you're a singer.
Ouch. That was actually
an
really
athlete.
spiteful. Because that was my dream.
Daisy does try.
I don't try. It's just natural. So you're obviously on Pay Next Day with us.
Yeah.
What's that like? Do you enjoy it?
Yes, I think it's probably like
How do you feel about it?
I love it because it's the fact that just the instant gratification of like, I worked hard today, and then you get paid the next day, and it's just like, oh,
Thank God.
Yeah.
am I allowed to swear?
Yeah, it's fine.
Is that what you like?
We'll bleep it.
And it feels good because you don't have to wait or like even chase you guys for payments, because you know, it does often happen with other agencies. You can wait for 8, like 12 months for payment,
which is crazy.
it's so insane. And it's hard sometimes too, because when you're at the position of being talent, it's like you don't really have anything you can do to make them pay you sooner.
Yeah, absolutely.
So just, you know,
Unfortunately, you guys are often the last people to get paid,
Yeah.
aren't you? Because
Yeah.
especially if it's a big company or a big production, it almost needs to like filter through from the top. And unfortunately, talent and us seem to be
yeah.
The
way
last
down the
one.
pecking order. But yeah,
Which is bizarre.
no, bizarre.
Because without the talent,
you
there is no
shoot.
content.
Yeah. Yeah, no, crazy. But no, we think that more. I think actually a few more agencies have started to follow our lead. I've seen on social.
You know what?
Announcing
I
it.
actually have seen that,
Yeah.
and I'm like, I think it's about time, because
Yeah.
like, you don't work, say like you work a normal 9 to 5, you don't wait 4, 8, 10 months to get paid.
No.
Exactly.
You know, like, people would
If
be
I had
livid.
to wait 10 months to get paid for my job, I'd fuming.
Yeah.
Sasa, what are you doing?
But it's true, and I think more agencies need to like step up and actually be just, you know, a little bit,
Recognize it.
yeah.
Also, like slightly, it's like holding accountability, isn't it? It's kind of being like, yeah, we don't agree with this either.
Yeah.
So we're gonna help.
Yeah, make a difference.
Yeah.
Because there's power in number, isn't
Yeah.
there? So
And I think the more agencies, you know, sign up to, like, even just subscribe to that idea of like, actually, let's treat our talent like just like employees, because
Yeah.
you would normally pay them every month anyway.
yeah, for sure.
So, and I think the hardest thing though is like getting some of them on board, because I found out that some agencies hold the money so they gain interest on it. And so, which is why sometimes you have to wait a while. Like, honestly, some of the times
Well, if
I've
that
waited
isn't
to
a
get...
scandal, if I ever
It's
did
not,
hear
yeah.
one.
But it is true, like some agencies will
Really?
hold your money so that they can gain interest on it, and by the time that they've gained interest on it, and then it's like, okay, we'll pay you now.
Release it then.
So they make more money on top of their commission.
That's so naughty.
That is
Which,
awful behaviour.
Yeah.
Someone call the police. There's a crime being made.
No one hearing this.
but yeah, that's one of the things I learned, where I was like,
It
that's
all
why.
makes sense.
Right.
Yeah.
Awful.
Well, we
That
don't
is
do
really awful. Yeah.
We're like, yeah.
take it.
Just grassing up on some agencies. Watch me get
cool.
shadow banned.
It's called spilling the tea for a reason.
Yeah. She's really spilling it all. Okay, so obviously you've had some cool shoots, filming and photographic in your time, but what would you say is the funniest memory that springs to mind? Or
Okay. The funniest, I would say, and the most bizarre, I remember this was like the first time I actually like went full time. This was like the first year. I did a campaign for a sports brand, and in the audition, we had to run on a treadmill and pretend that our legs were turning into kebabs.
What?
But we're like happy about it.
What, like a bit of Donna?
Yeah. And we were like,
How do you do the facial expression of your legs turning into kebabs? Show.
Please do.
honestly, it's one of those like running and being like,
Don't mind that.
and then in the actual shoot, we had to be tied. We had these like leggings on, and the car behind us is like tied onto our leggings, so it's like hooked onto our leggings with like JME at the back. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but like screaming, like
What is he screaming at you?
just heckling us, but like yeah, in like a jokey way. But I remember that being like the
That is so
funniest,
cool.
and nothing has like surpassed that to this day. Where I'm like, this is so bizarre. Like,
I feel like no one would be able to say I was running with a car hooked onto me, my legs turned to Donomy, and
the
JME
casting,
was
was that the
screaming at
shoot?
me.
that was both. So like
Oh
in the
my
casting,
God.
we were like literally running on a treadmill,
Oh.
pretending our legs were turning into kebabs. In the actual shoot, we were like hooked by our leggings onto this car, pulling the car physically.
Oh my
we
God.
thought we didn't actually think we had to pull, but we did.
Oh my You're so tiny. We were like,
To be fair, I think there was about like 5 of us.
Oh, okay.
So, but yeah, it was
strange
so bizarre.
concept. Imagine someone sat down in production and be like, right, so I think that they should run and then their legs turn into kebabs.
Yeah. And then they're all around the table like, that is so good. Visionary. And then just snowballing on top of that one, what is your worst shoot experience?
On set, I've never really had too many bad experiences. Only this one time where it was...
You don't have to say any names, by the way.
Yeah, I was working in China for 2 months, and one of the director, not gonna name names, but he was a bit odd. And he's very, honest in his own right. And I remember at one point, this was like the first time I'd ever been so body conscious, because he would say things to me like, oh, don't look down, we can see your double chin.
I would have cried then and there.
And genuinely, like the level of body dysmorphia. And the thing is, at that time too, I was like at where I thought I was at my fittest, where I was, I was super strict with my diet. I like stopped drinking and I like stopped doing anything fun.
I mean, there's nothing of you now anyway. But
it definitely made me get a bit of a complex.
Yeah,
because
but I
was
think
just
it
like,
would if you're hearing it.
Yeah,
yeah.
sure.
And like from a stranger.
Yeah, but also like in front of other people.
Everyone,
I think that was the thing that I was just like, oh my god, this is so awful.
But you did well to just shrug that off.
After that I like realized that he's a very troubled person.
Quite
Yeah,
really.
for sure.
And if he watches this, he knows
And
who
it's
he
very
is.
likely that your
and-
paths probably won't cross.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
God, it definitely won't.
Men commenting on women's weight, like,
Yeah. Baffles me.
not today, not
Yeah.
any day, not ever.
So obviously you're doing very well for yourself already, and you're super busy. You've obviously worked with a whole array of amazing clients and casting directors, and you name it, you've done it. But what's the 5-year plan? Who are brands that you would like to work for, that you're working towards, or in general, like what is your 5-year plan?
5-year plan. I used to have these, but then I reached the 5-year and I'm like, years.
What do I do now?
Problems to have.
But I definitely now I want to go into more film and TV work and like series and stuff. So I'm trying to get my life together a little bit more, because I feel like in the last couple of years I've been really lucky to
I
work.
feel like it's gone like this.
Yeah, to work with so many brands that I never in my mind ever thought I would like ever get to work with. But now I feel like I want to move into more film and TV work, and I want to buy my own home too.
Yes.
So fingers crossed that happens soon.
Do you want to live in London? Like, buy
Yeah.
in London?
Wow. So hopefully that does pan out.
Yeah.
Watch me live under a shoebox.
Guys, I made it!
Look at my beautiful apartment.
Welcome to my crib.
So obviously you've worked also, as you've mentioned, you worked in Ukraine, you worked in China. What do you prefer, in the UK, or do you like shooting abroad? Like, I guess it's 2 birds, 1 stone when you're abroad, because you're seeing a country that you maybe haven't seen before.
Yeah.
Also the weather. I
The
bet the
weather.
weather. Like,
That's true, yeah.
It's hard to say where I'd want to work more. I think probably abroad, only because I love to travel.
Yeah.
But I actually hate the travel part of traveling.
So do I, like going to the airport,
Yeah, I
being
hate that.
on the plane.
I hate that.
It's so unnecessary.
Yeah.
Just get me there.
Teleport me, destroy my molecules and take me there.
Yeah, the fact also that you have to be at the airport so much like earlier
Earlier.
than your flight,
Especially
that you're
now.
just pottering around the airport.
See, I don't mind getting up
hate it.
early if it means I'm going to get to
I hate it. I
a
can't
warm
stand
country.
it.
Yeah.
I don't mind. I will sit there all you need.
Honestly though, no, I hate that part. Like
Yeah.
I also sometimes I hate like, not that this happened, I mean this happens quite a lot actually, when I don't know where I'm going and I'm just like sat in a car waiting for like my booking to, like my
Confirmation.
my like flight tickets, like just to even figure out where I'm
That
going.
would
really.
really
Yeah.
freak me out.
Like I remember there was like a couple of jobs I had were like that, and one of them sticking out of my brain. I remember I didn't even find out I was going to Barcelona until I was like in the car on the way to the airport. And I was just like, where am I going? Like, is it safe? Is it fine? I didn't know like anything. I didn't know where I was staying. I didn't know the company I was working for. So it's just the unknowing part.
That is
can
crazy, isn't it?
be
Like,
a bit
that's-
stressful.
I think that's like one of the annoying things about our jobs is obviously everything can be really last minute.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wait, you want to fly them tomorrow?
Yeah.
You haven't sent me anything.
Yeah.
Like, what do you need?
It's like, hello, come on, guys.
Like, refresh.
Yeah.
Refresh. No, the email's still not coming through.
Yeah. Like, I've definitely had it before where, like, I've been called at, like, 9 a.m. and they're like, can you get to Heathrow for 11 a.m. flight? And I'm like, no! Where do you think I live?
Who can do that?
I'm on the runway, don't worry.
But I think definitely a bit of both. Like, I love working abroad only because also it's nice to be in a different country.
Yeah.
And to see what it's like working there. And most, like, I don't think I've done a job abroad where I was like, maybe except one, that I was like, I hate it here, take me home.
Really?
Yeah, like every job has been like, okay, there's some struggles, but it's cool. Like,
Yeah.
you know, and production's always been super supportive. Anything like when I went to South Africa when the Omicron virus came out.
Oh, really?
And I almost got stuck.
I remember this. I remember us being in the office and being like, oh god, Ocean's in South Africa and this Omicron virus is coming out. Do you remember? And didn't you struggle to get back?
Yeah, so we struggled getting back, and production was trying to get us these like insane flights that would take us to like 4 different countries, but then they were afraid that if we get stuck in any of those countries, we'd have to quarantine in those countries.
And it could be in the arse end of nowhere.
Yeah, and it's like, you know, most of them are developing countries, so you don't know what the hotel is going to be like, and so it was just mental.
So how long were you out there for then in the end?
We were only out there for like maybe a week, and then when we got back to England, we stuck to the same flights that we had. The only reason we piped up and said we don't want to, because you had a choice. If you came in before like 4 a.m. on a Sunday, you can quarantine at home. Which obviously for us, we wanted to quarantine at home. We prefer that. But if you came after 4 a.m., you'd have to quarantine in a hotel, and at the time, like, some of these hotels are
these UK rules?
Yeah.
Oh, stupid rules, aren't they? 4 a.m.
Yeah.
4 a.m.
Yeah.
Who was up at that time? Well, you were, apparently.
But we got back to London. We quarantined in a hotel. It was actually quite a nice hotel.
Nice.
And I had a nice 10 days chilling.
Just chilling in the hotel. What was the food like?
Actually, not bad. It actually was quite good.
Did you get vegetables?
Yeah.
I
my
used
vegetables.
to watch on TikTok like the people that were in hotel quarantine, and they would do like what I'm eating in a day.
Yeah.
You could like
They get it like put outside their door. And
and then they would be like lasagna, and it would not look like a lasagna.
That's for sure. We got quite lucky because the hotel, so you know, it's like a bit of a pick and mix at that time what hotel you stay in. We got quite lucky in where we stayed, which was actually a nice hotel.
Nice.
It's a little bit like aged, but the food was good. This like all the people that worked there were super nice,
and as long as it was clean.
And it was clean.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like a God, this is horrific. It was more like, okay, you know what?
This'll do.
10 days with my own thoughts and FaceTime. We're good.
Actually, I could just wind down.
Yeah.
That's the first thing.
Could you go outside?
No, you couldn't go outside. You can. You have like 20 minutes a day that you're allowed to go outside
For like a walk.
Yeah, but I don't
Okay.
like walking, so I stayed inside the entire.
Did you? Oh, I would get cabin fever so bad.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
What did you do? Like watch things?
So I ordered a bunch of shit from Amazon. I painted, I like drew, watched loads of Netflix series, and I FaceTime like my friends and family the entire time.
I bet by the end of the 10 days you were like, oh, I
Yeah.
want to stay.
And like
I can do that again.
Also, I shit you not, this is like a godsend. Lush delivery. You can order as much as you want, and like because we had baths, I was just like taking a bath every morning and evening, and I'm like, yes.
Oh my god, I would never have thought to do that.
But that sounds absolutely delightful, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's actually not.
So if we ever get stuck out in South Africa, quarantining, order Lush.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lush and Amazon are gonna be your like best friends.
Right. Everyone take that advice.
Speaking of advice, what advice would you give someone that's starting out in the industry? What worked well for you? What are the things that you wish you'd done differently?
One advice I would say to anybody that's starting out in the industry, especially, and I will say this especially for people who aren't like catered for the fashion industry, is that have a skill that you are amazing at and hone that, because you have to kind of be like almost a jack of all trades.
Yeah.
Like whatever your agent says, can you do this? You better be able to say yes.
And beauty's only skin deep sometimes, isn't it? You need to like be able to bring more to the table.
And you know, like even if it means like taking a singing lessons or like extra acting classes or learning a new sport or skill or whatever, like all of that helps into landing a good agency that can also represent you and, you know, put you forward for jobs that suit you and your skills the best. Because you don't want to just be a pretty face.
No, absolutely. So you said, you know, you don't want to just be a pretty face. You want to have something else that you can bring to the table. And I know we've already mentioned it a little bit. So you're an aerial artist, but what other skills are you able to bring to the table?
For me, my background is in gymnastics and cheerleading. So I'm relatively good at most things, only because I think from my training before, I can pick things up. So like that has definitely helped me, and I think that's given me an advantage to a lot of the stuff that I get given for like work, because sometimes I'll get like jobs for like trampolining, and I'm like, I am not a trampolinist by any stretch, but give me one day and I will like learn that.
Also, when they say like we need someone like who is able to do the trampoline, sometimes they only mean like that you're not like
like a start,
like they just feel
a seat drop.
Yes,
I can do that.
One of those eggs. Crack the egg.
Do you know what I can't do? A backflip. Like I'm just
I
like,
can't. No,
I can do a backdrop though. When you.
No, I can't. The thought of. No. Sorry, this isn't about us and our lack of ability.
No, but to be fair, I feel like landing on your back on a trampoline for me is terrifying.
Yeah.
That is so easy.
Are you joking?
I can smash that.
Like I would rather do a backflip any.
You.
Oh, 100%. That's like way easier. Just because like.
But then just.
No. Only because I feel like I'm a little bit like a cat. Like I will always land on my feet.
Oh,
like I don't know how to not land on my feet.
To be fair, you had no choice when then these great huge men were chucking you up in the air. You had to land on your feet.
Like otherwise it's like, we're not catching you.
Oh jeez. Oh my god. I mean, same. That's how I get out of bed in the morning. Black flip, a black flip.
Black flip.
Back flip.
But yeah, doing like sports in general has definitely helped me get a lot more jobs than I thought I would, because most things I feel like is within reach for me to learn if it is like a completely new skill, and I like training on my own anyway. So and I've always been quite a sporty person. Like aerial was just like a natural transition from doing cheerleading and gymnastics, because I wanted to be able to train on my own at home, especially during lockdown, and just be in a safe space that I can basically have exercise but also be fun. So I always just say to everybody, just have like one like sport or skill that you are like, you know, you fucking love doing, and just keep doing it, because at some point that's going to come up, and that does transcend into other things that you know they might want. Like the other day I had to like skateboard and like spin a hoop, like a ball in my hand. Granted the ball was rigged, so I didn't actually have to do that, but just the fact like I took up skating only because I hate walking, so I wanted to like travel around London without
Haven't
walking.
you got one of those little, is it a penny?
So I actually have a couple. Like I have short boards, like a cruiser and a penny board.
Oh my god.
Because it is nice to just skate through London.
I imagine in London, absolutely.
Especially when like I genuinely detest, like even this morning getting to the station, I was like, if it wasn't raining, I would be skating to the station right now.
We again can't really relate to that.
Get on a skateboard. I think I tried.
I think I used to sit on one with a skipping rope
Yeah.
and get my sister to pull me. But I think that's as
I think like I went through this phase when I was like a little girl of like BMXing and like
See, that's cool.
Yeah, and then I kind of was like, I can't do anything. Like I could barely ride the bike, so I was.
But you hung out at the skate park.
Well, I didn't make it that far. It's just around the estate.
Oh, Daisy!
But like
got visions of you on your bike.
with like the skateboard, I'd get really scared because like it gets a bit wobbly, doesn't it? And obviously you have to do this to like turn, and like I would just go a bit too far and fall.
Honestly though, I think a lot of that stuff too, it just takes practice. Like and I think the same thing about like castings. Like I remember my first year I always struggled with castings in person. I was like, I don't understand what I'm doing wrong. But everything is muscle memory. Like the more you like discover a formula that works for you, like with, you know, sports or whatever, or like even acting or modeling, then you just kind of hone that and then just kind of see how that goes. And normally it does work for everybody.
Yeah. I also was just thinking, I've noticed that you're not in our couples division yet, and I've noticed a boyfriend on
Oh my
the
god,
screen.
you have a boyfriend?
Yeah.
Yes.
He's gonna be so gassed that like.
What's his name?
His name's Blake. Hi Blake.
Shout out
Hi, Blake. Maybe you can come next time too.
Yeah, so we actually met on a job a few years ago.
Did you? No
Yeah. He was a DOP on a music video that I was working on. And yeah, we kind of
The rest is history.
yeah.
Romantic. Maybe I should go on a music video.
Yeah. Also, you've got a boyfriend.
I'm pretty sure though that he's so happy because like I never post like my relationship online just because I find that like I've always just been too scared of like I don't want to like post them and then we break up like 3 months later. Yeah,
because the worst thing is like the people notice you're not posting them anymore and they're like, oh, they must have. And then people are making their own assumptions about what happened. That's what I hate about people.
Or like
I hate people.
I just hate why just like no.
Yeah, and also there are people out there too that like judge you for not being able to keep a relationship.
Yeah, for sure.
That's me.
Oh my god, the wild things that go in my DMs.
Really?
It's, like, yeah. I just have to like block them and just like pretend.
These keyboard warriors.
Yeah, but like some people, like I remember there was one woman who, and my friend actually was so funny. So I got a random DM from this random human being and they were like, is your boyfriend not sick of you taking photos of yourself?
No, because he thinks I'm pretty, like everyone else on my Instagram.
And obviously, like one of my friends, he's a bit of like a keyboard warrior too.
Yes.
He went on her profile, followed her, and just like stalked her. And this is like a fully grown woman with a kid.
Oh my god.
And from him, and what my friend said, like she's single and whatever. And I was like, well, that's rich.
Well, that explains a lot.
I just don't understand why you're taking that time out of your day to send someone a message like that.
And
what's
maybe
it your
so
business?
unhappy in your own life.
But the crazy thing is, this person doesn't follow me either.
So
they actively go on my like some people would like I also because of the film that I just worked on. It's like, my god, I got such awful reviews. Like some of the fans, it has a really strong fan base. So some of them have come out to message like all of us in the cast, giving us like absolute grief over how the film had turned out. But I don't think they understand that like we don't have control over like post-production.
I'm here to do a job,
Yeah, and
oh my
like we can only do our best with what we're given. And by the time like we finish and it goes into like edit or whatever, we can't control what they do and what the director chooses to do.
No.
People are so bizarre, aren't they?
Get a life.
Yeah, the wildest messages I've received recently where I was like, it's really good that I have thick skin. But
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's still, it's not like a nice thing for anyone to do.
No, I think even if you are thick-skinned, like if you have, my mum would always say, if you have nothing nice to say, do not say it at all.
Okay, so the next segment of this interview is Never Have I Ever. So because we've all got drinks, we're actually all going to play this.
Yeah.
So obviously we should have actually got shots.
If you have, drink up. If you haven't, then...
Can you imagine? I just turn up to like see my boyfriend and it's like, you're drunk again. And I'm like, it was agency. It's not my fault.
I was in an interview.
So it's like 11:30, so maybe we should do shots.
Okay, so obviously, if you have, drink. If you haven't, don't.
Okay.
Right.
I'm gonna run out of drinks soon.
Sip.
Really tiny.
Okay, cool. Missed a flight. How on earth have you both missed a flight when you have to be there at least 4 hours before it takes off?
Printed the wrong time on my ticket. This was ages ago, and I was stuck in Italy. Yeah.
The literal situation where they were like, at 9 a.m, can you come to Heathrow for 11 a.m?
Oh, fair enough.
And I was
they
like,
actually did want you there.
Yeah, the flight was leaving at 11 a.m. They called me at 9 a.m.
Oh.
And I was like, do you think I'm gonna make that? No, book me another flight.
Sorry, but no.
Should we do the next one?
You need to just down that, don't you? Never have I ever
slid into people's DMs.
Oh, no. I'm too scared to do that.
What about my newest thing?
Oh no! Don't say that.
Also, I want to know.
I thought about this the other day because I thought no one's going to believe that because you would just unsend the message if you didn't mean to do it.
No, but they know that you've unsent the message though.
So she sends the wrong react.
Yeah, just like I didn't know that TikTok sends you your ex-boyfriend a notification when you watch his TikTok 20 times. What I do is, and don't include this,
include it because it's hilarious.
To people like boys' stories,
Yeah,
like
with
a
a
crying
crying
face, and then I go, oh sorry, I didn't mean to send that, and they're like, haha, no problem, how are you? And then I'm like, yeah, really good, thanks, how are you?
I just
That's
feel
kind of
like
smooth. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, but if you didn't mean to send
No one else
it.
says that, and I think it's not bad.
Yeah, I think that's
Does it work?
Because how do you unreact to a story?
You just delete the message.
No, but it still shows up that that someone's that they've reacted to it. You just don't.
Does
yeah.
it?
I'm pretty sure it does.
Situation.
I don't know. I feel like I'm a bit out of practice with all that. I don't know how you would slide in someone's DMs.
I'm too scared to do that.
It's quite
How
hard,
are
actually.
you? My name is Daisy. Chug, 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 chug.
We like to drink with Georgia.
How many have you slid into?
Like 2K? No.
2K. She's got 5 on the go.
Love that.
I'm joking.
Like,
no.
it's a numbers game,
George is
though,
in your
so.
DMs.
Dating is hard. Like, I'm not gonna
Dating
lie.
is
Girls
hard.
gotta do. Next one.
Okay. Never have I ever cut my own hair. Oh, it's good one.
Cut my own hair.
I probably have actually. I do actually before I get braids.
Oh, yeah, you do.
Oh my god, when I was younger, I used to literally grab a pair of clippers and just shave. Like, I had short back and sides.
How young are we talking?
Like, it's
Chaotic.
like a 2 or a 1.
Oh.
And I was just like, and it just looked ratchet. But it looked cool at the time.
Ratchet.
Now that I look back on it, I was like, oh, I really did that to myself. But it
we
looked,
learn. We live
Yeah.
and we learn.
and the first time I ever did it, I think I was like 14, 15. I just didn't want to go to a hairdresser because my mum refused to let me get a haircut.
Yeah.
Because she wanted me to have long
Long
hair.
hair,
So I
yeah.
took my dad's like hair clippers and just like.
Oh
She's
no.
a rebel, everybody.
I bet she was furious.
Yeah. But to be fair, also at that time, I always like hid a lot of stuff from my parents. So like I used to dye my hair, like I pierced my lips, and I was just like.
You were rebellious.
I was,
God.
and I used to like sneak out the balcony, like.
I'd be like me at 14. I'd be watching you like, oh my god, she's
Yeah,
doing that.
Don't let her do it. But she did it.
But she did it. So no. I should stop it.
Never have I ever gone viral online.
Is viral like 200 likes? I've had that before.
When have you gone viral?
I don't really like social media anyway.
So it's funny because I think my boyfriend probably hates this like TikTok I made.
I wonder how many views you got. How many views did you get?
It wasn't that many. It was only like 30K, but
I win.
this was like a genuine truth. I was at a dinner with a bunch of my friends, and they were all in like, one of them was getting married, the other one's like in a stable relationship. They've been together for like the last 8 years. And obviously at the time I only just started dating my boyfriend now, and I hate saying this out loud, but like
I hate myself.
I didn't know what he was really like. So in my mind, he's just like off gallivanting with whoever.
Did you call him a
No, I actually I'm gonna read
Can
it.
you show me?
Yeah, I think we need visuals of
And
it.
I felt bad afterwards because I was like, I can't take it down now because it did so well.
It got me the views.
But so this is what it says. When you're at dinner with all your friends in long-term healthy relationships talking about their future, and you're still at another what you doing tonight stage with another boy who still lives at home.
Oh.
That's kind of similar to what I've never seen it.
And so obviously I felt bad when he did see it, and I was just like, oh.
Be like, sorry, it
I
was
just
about you.
Yeah, but also because like on my TikTok, it's you know, like I only post stuff because I think it's funny. I don't.
It's not real life.
Yeah, and it's also like not really part of my like social media. Like I think TikTok
just
for
for
me
fun.
right now is fun.
Yeah,
It's so fun, isn't it? It's
But yeah,
funny.
like, oh, you saw that?
That wasn't a bad show.
But also he like hated, so like I posted a lot of like dating ones prior to that,
Yeah.
and he saw them all, and he was like,
Oh, bless him.
and I was like, I'm sorry, babe.
Sorry, I didn't mean it. I just did it for the TikTok.
Oh. Next one is never have I ever lied about my age.
Oh, I lie about my age all the time. 21.
Oh, mine was just to get into a club when I was 17.
What they just said, excuse me, miss, what's your name?
Well, like fake IDs and stuff.
You got a fake ID?
Oh, nice. How did you even get hold of that?
Well, it was my friends. Like.
Oh, you borrowed.
Okay.
You borrowed.
Yeah.
I was about to say, like, I swear fake IDs are really hard to get.
Yeah.
Like,
Who do you know? What connections do you have? Do you have a passport?
Do you
have other nationalities? Because hook me up. I need to go to America.
Oh.
Never have I ever broken a bone.
Touch wood, no, I haven't. Although, I nearly did, because when I was in primary school, this girl, fully, playing netball, right, fully pushes me over, so much so that I sprained my wrist.
Oh my
I was like
gosh.
crying on the playground. I had to have a sling.
I bet you were like, yes.
And then I got loads of special treatment at home, so I loved it. And I was like, guys, do you want to sign my sling?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
My sling.
When I was like in cheer, I remember like you did not stop a training session unless someone is bleeding, and that was like the limit. If you broke a bone, you keep going. And I remember I broke my hand, but we had like a world championship competition like maybe like 3 weeks away, and we just kept going. And
How
I remember
did you do that?
I competed with like the fat, like, so when we got to America, they wanted to put it in a cast, but because I was competing, I was like, no, you wrap because it needs to bend.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And we'll suffer through the consequences
Oh my
later.
God, were you in agony?
It was painful, but then because honestly, like it sounds so bad, but I think every sports person goes through this. It's just the pride of like being in that environment.
Yeah.
Like it makes you want to just commit.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you
Maybe
don't.
the adrenaline like covered it a bit.
Yeah, absolutely. And also at the time, it's like this is like the epitome of what I'm doing. Like this is like the highest thing. So obviously, I was like, no, I'm competing no matter what.
Yeah.
Do you know what that really, and I've probably got this wrong in my head, but it just, I feel like it's Bring It On. Have you seen Bring It On?
Oh, yes.
She's in it.
Oh my god. Which one have you seen? My favourite one has got Gabrielle Union in it.
Yeah. To be fair, I love them all. One of my friends actually worked in the last one.
Really?
Yeah, they actually filmed it in South Africa, but I think that the first two
were
really
the best.
encompassed, and even like a TV series now on Netflix called Cheer.
Yeah,
really
I haven't seen that yet, but I need to.
It does really encompass what it's like in that world, like because you are so hyped to be in like this team you've always wanted to be in, and you're representing something huge, and it's like just it feels like being in a royal family but like athletic.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I'm the princess.
Yeah. And like you go to competitions and you just feel like the best thing on the planet with like your glitzy uniform.
Yeah.
I, like, I just
music.
love the outfits.
Yeah,
like,
I love the
how
outfits.
cute.
And also like it's just cool, like
That is a really cool thing to do, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
cheerleader.
Like if I was American and was in American high school, I'd definitely want to be in the cheer team.
Yeah.
oh yeah.
Defos.
And-
I would hang out by the lockers and I would be
She said it.
We still love her for it though.
Have I ever got a speeding ticket?
I think I got one yesterday.
I actually have not, touch wood.
I got one yesterday.
Yeah, Georgia was doing 85 and a 50.
Why? Where were you going?
I'm trying to get away from her. No, I was doing a 54 and a 50.
Can I just say, you are a really reckless driver, so I'm not surprised.
Walk next time. Walk.
I get so embarrassed in Georgia's car because she gets in the wrong lane and then she goes to go in the right lane and then we're literally sitting like straight across the lane.
She's window to window with the person
Yeah,
next to me,
and
and
I'm literally like trying not to look and I'm like, sorry. And she's just like, what? And I'm like, oh my god, don't start fights, you are in the wrong lane.
And I'm like giving her one of them.
Yeah,
like,
she's like swearing.
I love that. See, I'm a passenger princess.
Are you?
oh, I thought you were about to say, because you said earlier you were a backseat driver.
Yeah. Someone walked into the road earlier and I screamed.
I was driving and this man walked into the road and they went, ah! And I went, what?
Can I just say, he looked like he was going to walk into the car, it looked like there was going to be a collision, it took me by surprise, I didn't know what else to do other than scream.
I often think like if we had like a dash cam like come driving us, it would actually be quite
I
funny.
screamed the other day as well because that car was like coming really
that That was scary. I think I screamed in my head as well.
Yeah, I did. I was like,
I don't know. I think for me, like, I just love, like, I love being in the passenger.
yeah. I prefer being a passenger.
The idea of driving myself, to me, sounds exactly the same as, like, walking. I'm like,
I just don't do it.
Yeah, like, I don't want to do it. I would rather someone else did it for me, and then I'm good.
Yeah. Fair, to be fair.
Last but not least, have you ever been on a blind date? I have not.
No, I haven't either.
No. Thank God.
Yeah, I don't know if I trust anyone enough to do that for me.
Yeah.
I think they sound all nice in the books and stuff. But I think the reality of that would just send me off the edge.
Yeah.
Because
Also, I think ironically, like, even though I feel like I want to, you know, obviously acting is like my favorite thing ever, I'm not very good at hiding my emotions in real life.
Really?
So when I'm displeased about something, you will see
know.
it. And if I turn up at a venue and I feel like, oh, I'm dressed all cute, I'm looking forward to whoever my friends have set me up, and I see that that person isn't matched for me, I would just be like,
yeah.
Sorry.
Bitch, please.
why am I here? I've insulted my friends, think I'm this.
Well, thanks so much for watching episode 3 of Daisy and G Spill the Tea, and thank you again, Ocean, for coming to join us.
You've been amazing.
Thanks
We've
for
loved
having
having
me.
A dream.
I think we should get another glass of Prosecco now.
I concur.